my lovelies, and welcome to the Prosperous Yogini Podcast, episode 16. And today I'm going to answer the question, how do yoga teachers make money? So today will be really useful if you're thinking of training to be a yoga teacher and wondering what the outcomes are in terms of earning potential and how you might make your money. Or you're a newly qualified teacher, or you've been teaching for a few years and you are just wondering how you can take this skills, knowledge, gifts that you have, share it with the world and create maybe even a full-time career out of being a yoga teacher. It's totally possible because I've proved it's possible, and I love saying this. I'm saying it an awful lot at the moment. If I can do it, trust me, you can too. Okay, so how do yoga teachers make money? Look, hand on heart, the most common, obvious way a yoga teacher will make money is through teaching weekly classes. And teaching weekly classes in person in the last few years actually has had a little bit of a bad rap, in the sense that we've all experimented, tried, moved online, done Zoom classes. Maybe like me, you've created some online courses. And there have been people out there who've been trying to push this notion, this concept that weekly in-person classes are dead. This is 100% not true. And for many yoga teachers, and for me for many, many years, our consistent income, our bread and butter, how we made money as a yoga teacher was to go out and teach weekly classes. Even now, with my yoga business, including a large online offering of courses, training programs, mentorship, I still teach weekly classes. I still teach pregnancy, postnatal and toddler yoga classes in person. One, because I absolutely love it. I love my weekly interaction with bumps, mums and little ones. Our hand on heart, toddler yoga, pregnancy yoga, mum and baby yoga are way better as in-person classes. And it still is a good, consistent income in my business that I don't want to turn the tap off to that income. But it's far more than that. I basically love it. And I am always going to go out and teach toddler yoga. I'm really like, the last thing I do will stop when I retire will be toddler yoga. I'll be like in my 90s still teaching toddler yoga. It will keep me young. It will keep me young. So the consistent income, more than likely for most yoga teachers, comes in our weekly classes, particularly at first. And the reason why, once you've trained as a yoga teacher, and the first thing you might consider doing, the first thing I would probably encourage you to do actually, is to go out and teach a weekly class. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to encourage you in this podcast. And if you hop onto my mentoring program or some of my mentoring shorter courses, I'm going to encourage you to think beyond weekly classes for sure. But when you first qualify as a yoga teacher, the first thing you've kind of got to do is practice being a teacher. It's a bit like when you first pass your driving tests. And in the UK, we have a red P plate for someone who is learning to drive, and when they just pass, they get the L green plate. I know you would have heard me to say this before. There are no P plates and L plates for yoga teachers. But when we first start out, we really are still practicing and learning the art of teaching. And to be honest, I think this is an ongoing practice. We see our yoga practice as something separate, whereas actually teaching and the skill of teaching is a practice. And how do you get better at any skill? You go out and practice. So those weekly classes, I think, are really, really powerful in helping you to refine your skill as a teacher. And you learn so much from your students. So as a trainer, it can be someone who goes into running training courses. It can be that they stop teaching, not completely, or reduce their teaching load. And I completely understand that when you bring more into your business, and a training course is a big commitment, you do have to make space for it. So you might drop the amount of teaching that you do every week. That's certainly happened in my business. But I really love to see trainers continuing to teach, because I cannot express to you the value that my weekly classes bring into my training courses. So I have a specialist online pregnancy, postnatal, toddler and yin training courses. And my weekly classes, I teach a yin class online. My weekly classes inform my training so much. I'm forever sharing. In fact, I do share a recording of my pregnancy yoga class with those in my training course. And I'm forever sharing, oh, I did this in yin, I used this theme and this happened. Oh, and I tried this sequence, and mum and baby yoga, we tried this song, and toddler yoga, I got this new prop. And I'm continually sharing my experience of actually teaching, which is what I'm training them to do. It has a massive impact on my training courses. So it really is not the case that teaching weekly classes is dead. And it certainly isn't the case that as your business grows, that you would stop teaching weekly classes unless that's something you want to do. The problem or the issue we have if we're thinking about how yoga teachers make money and we're thinking about teaching weekly classes is, let's say, what probably typically happens. I've done my training course and I start 1 or 2 classes, and it will take some time to get the venue right, get the time right, set up your system so people know about your classes, can book onto your classes. Not just that, magnetizing, collecting those people. I've got this thing at the moment, giving the universe time to hook you up. I love saying that, hook you up with your tribe, your people who will be blessed to do yoga with you. This all takes a bit of time. Like, the universe will hear the order, but it takes a bit of time to put that order through. So it takes time to grow those classes. But I promise you, if you're just starting out and your class numbers are quiet or your class numbers have taken a dip, okay, I just know that this isn't the end result, or this isn't permanent. I mean, what is yoga teachers to start with? Nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. So you get yourself to a place where you've got a couple of classes, numbers are good, consistent, and you feel like you're ready to expand. You want to be in that place where you're feeling ready to expand. If you're expanding from a place of those classes aren't quite full, or just doing those 2 classes alone is enough, and adding anything more into your yoga business would overload you, don't do that. Because many yoga teachers, let's be honest, how do yoga teachers make money? Many yoga teachers work part-time in an employed job and then part-time as a yoga teacher. It could be that they're working towards being a full-time yoga teacher, or it could be they really enjoy the mix. Before I had kids, I was a part-time school teacher. I worked 3 days a week, and part-time yoga teacher. Now, because I didn't have young children thrown into that mix, I really loved that mix of that regular consistent income in as a school teacher, the holidays. I actually really loved my job as a school teacher. Shock horror, all the teenagers. I don't think I've got hardly any teenage listeners to this podcast. I loved teenagers and love working with teenagers, and to this day have a major soft spot for teenagers. They're brilliant and majorly misunderstood. That's a topic for a different podcast. But I loved my job as a school teacher, and it really complemented, because it wasn't full-time, it was part-time, it really complemented my job as a yoga teacher, and I could go out and teach my classes. And it did mean I didn't have that pressure to earn money as a yoga teacher. And interestingly, because I took that pressure off, then my classes filled. I had a good steady income from my yoga teaching as well. So one way yoga teachers make money is actually have a part-time employed job, part-time yoga teacher, or are self-employed and have other skills like massage therapist, for example. Okay, there isn't a one size fits all. How does a yoga teacher make money? Best way is to honor completely you and how you want to do it. Okay, how you want to do it. So if you want to give up your day job, you want to give that employed income up because you're just done with that job and you want to go all in on being a full-time yoga teacher, I'm like, go for it. Go for it. Get on my mentorship program. I'll help you make it happen. If the thought of that really stresses you out, even though you may have an ambition to leave your full-time job or at least go part-time in that job, I'm like totally with you too. You've got to completely honor you. So you've got, whatever, whether you're working full-time, part-time, whatever, you've got your 2 classes going and they're making some consistent income. And you're now thinking, how can I expand my business? How can I help more people? How can I share the gift that is yoga and increase my earning potential as a yoga teacher? And this is understandable. You've got a model that works. You're going out teaching a couple of classes a week. So you think, right, I will add in some more classes to my timetable. It's not illogical. It's not the wrong thing to do. It's what most of us do. Okay, so now what you might be thinking is, well, maybe I should do some specialist training. Maybe I should train in something else, appeal to a different group of people. I'm like, this is a great idea, because there's a limit to like how much vinyasa yoga, let's say, or ashtanga yoga, people are going to go to in a week. So if you're offering contrasting classes, like a chair yoga class followed by vinyasa yoga, a yin yoga followed by vinyasa yoga, a pregnancy yoga followed by yin yoga. So yeah, you can expand your teaching timetable by teaching different styles of yoga that will appeal to different people and help more people in your local community. This is all good, okay? And this just carries on, and maybe you find yourself now teaching, I don't know, everybody has a unique ceiling, right? I'm trying to think, when I had my studio, what my biggest teaching load would have looked like. And I think it was 10 classes a week plus weekend workshops, and I was starting to factor in training courses. Now, for me, that was a lot. That was a lot. I was quite tired. 10 classes a week was a lot. And I did have young children. And how many classes a week should you teach is completely up to you. Like, I've heard people say, hey, you shouldn't be teaching more than 12 classes a week. And I see sometimes like teachers teaching 20 classes a week. And I'm like, oh my God, how do they do it? Like, I now teach 5 classes in person a week. And they are actually, I would say, soft classes in terms of physical needs in my body: pregnancy, mum and baby, toddler yoga. And then I teach 1 yin class a week. So I'm teaching 6 classes a week. There isn't at the moment in my teaching schedule, remember, nothing's permanent. There isn't at the moment a physical style, vinyasa type style class in my schedule. I'm 44. Now, I'm not old. I'm 44 though. I've got a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old. I've got a big business, and that is just enough for me. And if I was to do any more, it would be too much. I actually don't go out and teach in the evenings anymore. I just teach from home online, because I was just finding going out in the evenings too much. And I have actually stopped teaching at the weekends, because as my kids are getting older, heading towards secondary school, oh my God, heading towards secondary school, I can just see how precious these weekends are with my children. And when you're running your yoga business, I don't care whether it's a yoga business, you do have to do what's right for you. If you are doing something out of a sense of duty, but you're resenting it because you're like, I actually really want to be with my kids right now, you have to change that, because it long-term ain't a sustainable model. Okay, so there is a limit. There's a limit on the amount of classes that you're going to go out and teach every week. I don't know what that limit is for you. So I'm going to say somewhere between 6 and 12. It depends on the style of yoga you're teaching. It depends on whether, you've got another job. It depends on if you're doing a lot of traveling. There's lots of factors, but there basically is a ceiling. Whoever you are, however old you are, whatever your circumstances are, there is a ceiling on how many classes you are physically going to be able to teach in a week. Plus, that ceiling will shift as your life changes. Maybe you add babies into the mix. Maybe you get older. Maybe you get other interests. Okay, this is called being human and life. All right. So, not just to the ceiling of how many physical classes you can go out and teach a week, there is also the ceiling of how many people you can fit in a room. Realistically, how many people are going to come to those weekly classes. So all of this has a ceiling, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, I know plenty of yoga teachers who are just teaching weekly classes, and that is more than enough in terms of prosperity for them. Okay, I'm using that word prosperity, not income. Prosperity isn't a fixed amount. Prosperity is just feeling in a state of abundance, that you have everything you need and all your needs are met. Okay, and we all have our unique economic set point when it comes to prosperity as well. But if you are thinking, let's say you've got 8 classes going and it's going well, and you're thinking, I actually really would love to be a full-time yoga teacher. I'm not earning enough right now. And to earn more, all I can think is teach more classes. And actually, I don't know if I want to do that, because I'm talking about ceilings in terms of your physical energy and the amount of people you can get in the room, all right? Amount of rooms that are available, etc. There is also like a ceiling in how much you want to go out and teach a class. Like maybe you want to do something different. Like you are human. That would be totally normal if you wanted to have a break from that, driving to a venue, setting up, greeting people in person. This is all lovely, but this has an energy. Maybe you want to do something different. Maybe you want to work differently with people. So yeah, you could add in one-to-ones, you could add in retreats, you could add in workshops. If you've been teaching for a long enough time, you could add in training. You could, even have to have been teaching for a certain time to create a specific course that maybe not training, but a course in like an in-depth study into the limbs of yoga, for example. Like these are all possible. Again, whether this be online and in person, we're talking about cohort-based offers. There's only so many people into these offers that you can fit in, whether it's online or in person. Great. But you are still in a place where you are exchanging your time, your services, your energy for helping people and money. Okay. And again, there may be energy, capacity and desire to do this. It's not wrong. It's not wrong to be having 8 classes, thriving every week and think, I'm going to start doing a regular monthly workshop that the people that come to my classes are going to feel. That's a great idea. Or I'm going to do a retreat twice a year that the people at my classes are largely going to come to. These are great ideas. But again, they are all ways of making money, not bad ways, just ways of making money that involve you physically being there to deliver that service. Okay. And at some point, if you want to think about increasing the earning potential, your earning potential, also increasing the number of people who will benefit from doing yoga from you, the number of people who can access your classes, your courses, your training programs, whatever it is, okay, you need to seriously consider doing something online. So it is the end of September 2022. And if you're listening to this podcast anytime between then and the 10th of October, I am currently promoting my 5-day mini but mighty leverage training. It is only 4 45-minute pre-recorded sessions that you've got to listen to, followed by, on Sunday the 16th of October, a 90-minute live call with Q&A. Leverage is all about me telling you just everything you need to get started online. The story behind Leverage is I was like, you know this story. I was Queen of Cash, rubbish website, technophobe. March 2020, that was me. Okay, of course, COVID hit. And I moved my business online. And the other day, I think Leverage came from me stepping back the other month and going, whoa, look at my business. I've got online courses. I've got online membership, like a model where I'm involved live in it, a model where it's all just repurposing pre-recorded content that I've created over the last 2 years. I've got self-paced courses. I've got training courses, I've got a mentorship program, I'm using Circle Community Space, I'm hosting my courses on the Teachable platform, I'm into email marketing, I even love a bit of email automation. The other day I started talking about my tech stack. I have a YouTube channel and of course I have a podcast, right? And my YouTube channel, I think it's at 44 subscribers, it's not massive, but I have a YouTube channel, it's growing and people watch my videos, okay? And I'm like, my days, I cannot believe this is me. And I cannot also believe the impact that doing everything that I've done has had. I've worked with people from Saudi Arabia, I've worked with people from Australia. I've helped way more people than I ever could imagine in a period where potentially, particularly in COVID 2020, 2021, where my income could have easily drastically dipped. I managed actually to sustain my income and grow it. And now, as we're looking forward into an uncertain economic future, energy crisis, I feel protected at the very least from energy costs, because my online business, my studio my 3x3 meter studio where I do my trainings from, do any live stuff from, create content from, doesn't take a lot to heat. And I just feel so fortunate to have this business. And I created it, and I literally have to pinch myself. I wish if hindsight's a wonderful thing. If I'd known that I'd be doing all of this like nearly 3 years later, in March 2020, I would have made a video of myself like pretending to ask myself what I thought of online courses, having a YouTube channel, what are my feelings around technology. It would have been the most hilarious video ever. I mean, if you scroll right back through my Instagram, like 2020, 2019, at one point I got an iZettle machine. They take card payment. And there's a great post of me holding my iZettle machine, like going, Amy Yoga's moving into the future. Like, this is a future that I hadn't even considered. I didn't even take online payment. Okay, and here I am today, online payment, Stripe, WooCommerce on my WordPress site, like someone set that up. But listen, if I can do it, you can too. And what all of this online stuff that I've created, it has created the opportunity, it's opened the door, the possibility for me to leverage my time for money. Leveraging your time for money simply means you can help more people all in one go. Let's take a membership model. Let's take a membership model which could have 10, could have 200 people in it. They all benefit from doing yoga with you, from having access to your skills and knowledge. You just have to deliver whatever it is you said you're going to deliver as part of your membership. And the number of people within your membership isn't impacting your delivery of that. So you could have 10, you could have 200. And think about how scalable that is in terms of the amount of people you can help and your income. Like, let's say your membership, I'm going to keep the maths really simple. Let's say your membership is £20 a month and you get 10 people in it. £200 a month, okay? Consistent income, £200 a month. Let's say if you get 10, it does mean people will coming into your membership, so there's nothing stopping you getting 100. Okay, having a mindset shift and a belief that is possible. You got 100 people in your membership paying £20 a month. Okay, that is now £2,000, 200, 4,000. And do you see how suddenly from one offer becomes scalable? Like, some of you might be listening to you think, actually, I might just have a membership. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is the model where some people have one signature offer and that's all they do and that's all they sell. Like, that might work for you. It wouldn't work for me, my brain. I'd get so bored. I miss his ideas. I have to rein my ideas in. But, it's your business and you do it your way. And that's what I love so much about the online world, is it allows me to put my ideas into a course. Once I've recorded it, delivered it live, recorded it or pre-recorded it, once I've created it, I've created it. And then it's something that I can continually sell. This sometimes is referred to as passive income. I'm not a huge fan of passive income because I don't really think there's such thing as passive income, because even a course, even a membership, even if it's like self-paced study, evergreen, so you can buy at any time, there still requires you to do some selling. That someone buys a course, they may have some questions, things still come up. Some people want refunds, some people have problem accessing things, some people like to ask you questions. You have to continue to sell your course, you have to continue to talk about your course, market your course, tell people about your course, make offers, invite people into wherever your online offer is. So passive income is a little bit of a fallacy, but leveraging your time is not. And the minute you decide that you love your weekly classes, I'm really not sitting here saying go online, set up an online business. Oh, no. If you want to, great. I'm like, if you want to combine both, great. If you don't want to go online, look, fine. Turn me off, don't listen to this podcast, but that's fine as long as it's coming really deeply rooted from a place of grounding that you just know it's not for you. Because I would have turned this podcast off in March 2020 because I completely closed the door to the possibility because of my beliefs around technology and my ability to use technology. I was a technophobe. I was one of those people that used to say technology hated me. You're never going to find me on YouTube, okay? So I would have turned this podcast off in March 2020. I would have gone, nah, I ain't doing this. This isn't for me. And I hope you hear me stuttering. I'm struggling to find the words to express what that was. It was completely in my mind. It was a completely closed door. I was completely shut off to the possibility of it, out of my beliefs. Nothing to do with my skill as a yoga teacher. nothing to do with anything other than the mind. So this is why I really will encourage you, wherever you're at, whether you're like, hell yeah, Amy, I'd love to just give this a go. I'm going to come to your leverage training. Or you're like, this is not for me. Sorry, Amy, thank you very much. Looking forward to next week's podcast. Even if you're there, right? I'd invite you to come along to this training. It's only £39. It's not a huge amount of your time. If you're Yoga Alliance Professionals accredited teacher, it's worth 5 CPD points, and you've kind of got nothing to lose. £39 and just under 4 hours of your time, a lot of which you can listen to me like a podcast. So there's not much to lose, and think of what doors could be opened. And I know what's kicking in right now in the mind. You're like, well, what am I going to share online? And I'm rubbish with technology. I wouldn't know where to start. I want you to know we're going to address all of this. This is mastery of mindset. You'll have something in you that could work, definitely could be shared with the world. Even if, why don't you scale it back? And I think this is really helpful. And this is actually how I ended up accidentally falling into creating online training courses, is even if you think, what could I create that would help the people that are already in my community? So really the first course I created was actually not my training course. I created my pregnancy yoga course. This was for all the women who in March 2020 were booked into my pregnancy yoga classes. COVID said, no, you can't come. I had kids at home. I wasn't set up for teaching on Zoom yet. And I said to them, look, I'm going to make you a pre-recorded course. You'll be able to do it in your own time. And it will keep you going over these 12 weeks. Little did we know, eh? But that's what I did. And I created something to sell to them. Now, that was great. I am still selling that course. I'm still selling it to the ladies that come to my in-person pregnancy yoga classes who want to do a bit more yoga at home with me. They know me, they like me, and they buy the course. And I created that, nearly 3 years ago. It's the same in my training courses. I was due to start a toddler and preschool yoga training course, April 2020. And again, I said to those guys booked on, we'll do it online. Do you want to join me online? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. I cannot deliver this course via Zoom. I got, at the time, how old were my kids? Maybe 4 and 7. I've got 2 young children at home that I'm home educating. I ain't doing this on Zoom. All I'll do is I'll pre-record. I'll deliver the course in pre-recorded content. I'll work with you as you work through the content, work with you one-to-one, do some group calls. I'll give you feedback on your assignments. I'll answer any questions that you have. And this is still largely the model that I use today. Works really well for me and those that I train. And this has been the key thing when I have thought about who's in my community and how can I help them? How can I use the online world to help them more, to help them better even? How can I create online courses, training, content that work for me? And then because I've come from that place, everything that I've created, well, largely everything I've created, has been really successful. So yeah, to conclude, I would love to see you, if you're listening to this between now, September the 29th and October the 10th, to hop along. I'll put the link to the training in this show notes, but hop along to my Instagram page. You'll see at the top of the links there. Leverage, £39, 5-day mini mighty mentoring training. In this training, I will give you everything you need to just get started, to take your gifts as a yoga teacher, your skills experience, and it could be you're a newly qualified yoga teacher, it could be you've been teaching for 10 plus years, it doesn't matter, you're all welcome. Could be you're not a yoga teacher, but you want to share your gifts online, you're all welcome, okay? I will give you everything you need to get started, everything you need to get started. And this isn't about in-person classes being dead, but this is about how do I make money as a yoga teacher? Yeah, you can go out and teach weekly classes. I love going out and teaching weekly classes. This has a ceiling. How can I leverage my time for money? How can I help more people in one go? How can I spread the light that is yoga as far as is humanly possible? Go online, my darling, go online. Alrighty, thank you for listening, and I'll see you all next week.